What is cardiovascular system? Here, the cardiovascular system consists of a network of vessels that circulates blood throughout the body, motored by the action of the heart. We will be talking about specifics of the heart in a separate lesson. So, we'll concentrate here on the circulatory system itself. Now let us trace the flow of blood pulmonary circulation. Blood pulmonary circulation. Here, the inferior vena cava, as you can see in the diagram, is the largest vein of the body. It carries deoxygenated blood back from the lower part of the body to the right atrium of the heart. This blood is carrying carbon dioxide. The superior vena cava is above the heart and carries deoxygenated blood from the head and arms to the right atrium of the heart. Then, from the right atrium, the blood flows through the tricuspid wall to the right ventricle and then on to the lungs through the pulmonary valve and pulmonary artery. Then, in the lungs, the blood exchanges the carbon dioxide it is carrying for oxygen. Here you can see in the diagram. The fully oxygenated blood now flows back to the left atrium of the heart through the pulmonary veins. The oxygenated blood leaves the left atrium through the mitral valve, which is bicuspid, into the left ventricle, gets pumped from the left ventricle through the aortic valve to the aorta. Then, the aorta is the largest artery of the body. The ascending aorta leaves the heart, curves in an inverted U shape, making an arch, and then descends downward. So here the brachiocephalic artery quickly divides into the right subclavian artery that supplies blood to the right arm and upper torso, and the right common carotid artery that supplies the head and neck. The left common carotid artery supplies the head and neck. The left subclavian artery supplies the left arm and upper torso. Subclavian means it is located below the clavicle or collarbone. The descending aortic artery leads downward through the diaphragm and chest and into the abdomen. About 1/5 to 1/3 of the blood passes through the renal artery into the kidney. The kidney is a filter and takes some water and waste products out of the blood. The kidneys excrete the waste products and water out of the body as urine. Thus, the descending aortic artery continues downward into the abdomen. It then splits into two major branches. This split is called aortic bifurcation. The two branches are called iliac arteries. Then, arteries are elastic tubes that carry blood in pulsating waves. The blood exerts pressure against the walls of the arteries as it passes through. The peak pressure occurs during the heart's concentration and is called systolic pressure. The minimum pressure occurs between the contraction and when the heart expands and refills and is called as diastolic pressure. This pressure variation within the artery produces a pulse. All arteries have a pulse. Then, what is temporal? Temporal means side of the forehead. Carotid means neck. Branchial means inside the elbow. Radial means thumb side of wrist. Femoral means groin. Popliteal means behind the knee. Dorsal pedis means upper surface of foot. The average pulse rate for a person who is resting would be 70. During the exercise, that number might increase to 130 to 140 per minute. Then systolic and diastolic blood pressure can be measured in the branchial artery just above the elbow with an instrument called as sphygmomanometer and a stethoscope. Two measurements are taken and are expressed in millimeters of mercury. The two blood pressure measurements are written as a ratio systolic over diastolic. In the average adult, systolic pressure usually ranges between 100 to 140 millimeter mercury. Diastolic pressure usually ranges between 60 to 90. A typical blood pressure reading would be expressed as 120 by 80, that is 120 over 80. A reading of 140/90 would be considered high blood pressure and may pose health risk. The arteries branch off into even smaller vessels called arterioles and then to smaller vessels yet called capillaries. Arterioles act like adjustable nozzles in the circulatory system, so they have the greatest influence over blood pressure. Here the capillaries are smallest of the blood vessels and the walls are so thin that molecules can pass through them. They branch out from the arterioles, passing next to the organs, intestines and through all the cellular tissue. In the cellular tissue, the capillaries provide means of exchange through the process of absorption. Then, the capillaries branching away from the arteries in the abdomen pass by the liver and intestines, picking up nutrients and water. The capillaries in the cellular tissue exchange their oxygen, nutrients and water and pick up carbon dioxide and other wastes. The capillaries now carrying carbon dioxide and cell waste start merging into bigger vessels called as venules. The venules widen even further, emptying into veins. The veins have valves that prevent the backflow of blood. Veins lead back to the heart. Here, veins are the vessels that are used to remove blood from the body for analysis. This procedure is called venipuncture, and the medical personnel that specializes is called phlebotomist. The veins carry the blood back toward the heart. The blood still carries a small amount of oxygen along with cellular waste, but has fairly low pressure compared to blood in the arteries. It finally travels through the superior and inferior vena cava and back into the right atrium of the heart. Circulation is complete and starts over again.